وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُّدَّكِرٍ.
And we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there any who will remember?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Inshallah, let us continue. So far we've mentioned regarding the Arabic words that there are three types. They're the ism, the harf, the fi'l. We've talked about the ism, that there's four properties of the ism: status, number, gender, and type. We've now covered about the status, that there were three types of status. They're raf', nasb, and jar. And you can learn the English with them if you want to. Raf' is the doer state, the nasb is the detail, and the jar is the after of. And then we talked about the numbers, and we've mentioned regarding sound, male, the sound plurals, and you have the males and females from those. And then the broken plurals, and we talked about the human broken plurals and the non-broken human plurals, non-human broken plurals, and the non-human broken plurals, we treat them as she, and the human broken plurals can be either she or whatever is appropriate for the particular word. And then we moved on to feminine, and we said that words are, the way to think about it, the words are male unless they follow these particular conditions to make them into feminine. So we can recognize them as feminine. And we said the feminine words are either real ones, so you know whether they're terms like mum, sister, or the names are females, then we know that they are female, or they are what we describe as feminine, meaning that the other ones which we can't recognize by the words themselves in terms of them being feminine, because they're not people, the group of objects and stuff, where do they fit in. And we said the way to recognize them is there's 5 ways to recognize them: the endings, the ta marbuta, the long alif, and the other alif as well. Mentioned there with al-kubra, safra'u, rahmatun, mentioned there. And the human body parts, that's the second way, which are any pair human body parts are considered as feminine. The broken pools, which we mentioned before, is considered as feminine. The non-human broken pools we're referring to, and the human broken pools can also be considered as feminine as well. So in general, the broken pools can be considered as feminine, and proper names of places are also considered as feminine. And the last one was those that Arabs have said are feminine, they are feminine. And then we talked about isms in terms of type, and we talked about how do we recognize which is proper, and there were 7 ways. First is having an al, the second is names of places and people, the third is if they have ya before them, so you're calling somebody or someone, then we know that that person that is being called is proper. We also had the dama'id, the pronouns, they are proper. Ismul asma'ul ashara, this, that, those are proper. Connector words, asma'ul mawsula, alladhi, and etc., those are considered proper. And then after of is also considered as proper. The after of is also considered as proper. Now we're moving on to the next page, which is page number 4. And inshallah we will try and complete page number 4, which is the 2 types that we've talked about before, but we're going to talk about them in more details. And we mentioned these both as being proper. Okay, so first is what we call relative pronouns. And they're called al-mawsulat, and the words are called ismul mawsul. And it is considered a noun after which a sentence specifies the intended aim. And these are the ones which we've mentioned before, which was the those who, the one who, the two who, those who. And we mentioned the 6 already. And here we go into a little bit more details regarding the 6 types. And you've got the table there. And again, learn it in this way: alladhi, alladhani, alladhina. Okay? And the mu'annath is allati, allatani, allati. But you can see there are many more as well. So the wahid, the singular, is fine, alladhi. The second, the dual is alladhani. It could be alladhina. Alladhaini. Okay? It could be either of those. And the jam' is always alladhina. And the feminine you get allati, and it can again be allatani or allatani. Okay, it could be allatani or allatani as well. And the jam is going to be allati, but you can also have other ones, allawati and allai are also from the mawsulat. Those are ismul mawsul. So those are your ismul mawsul. Okay, those are your ismul mawsul. And you have your ismul mawsul, and those the words that are after it, connected to it, those are called the sila. Those are called the sila. Those are called the sila, and it's mentioned there. And again, if you don't completely understand it, again, is not to worry, because we're going to go into more details when we're talking about fragments and how things come together. First stage, we're doing the first stage, which is the ism's individual words. So we're going through that. The next stage will be making fragments where 2 words or 3 words come together to form a fragment. For example, a fragment would be the big house. Okay, so that's more than one word, but in itself is not a complete sentence. If I say the big house, somebody's going to say the big house, what about it? Okay, so the next stage is getting these fragments together, and that will be the next stage, but we're still going through the singular words yet. So we've covered the ismul mawsul, which I mentioned there, but there are certain words which can also act as ismul mawsula, and that's point number 2. The following 4 words are also used to express the meaning of asma'ul mawsula, and those are man. For intelligent beings, we use man, who. Okay, man. You can also be ma, whatever. This word is specifically used for unintelligent beings. Ma, do not get confused. Ma has a lot of meanings. One of the meanings is used as a ismul mawsul. Okay, meaning it will have a meaning of whatever, as you said, used here as well, and it can also have a meaning of the one who, what is appropriate. Ayu, who or what. A masculine, that's ayun, which is a masculine, and ayyatun, which will be the feminine. One who or what. Again, so these words can also be used as ismul mawsula. Okay, ismul mawsula. Again, if it doesn't make complete sense, then not to worry. We will go through it, inshallah, in more details when the right time comes. The words which we mentioned here. Okay, so again, remember this is a reference tool, so I've added more information here which you may not clearly understand, and this is the next point, point number 3, which you're not going to really understand at this stage, but it's there as a reference. Okay, the words man, ma, ayyun, ayyatun always occur as either the mubtada, the fa'ilun, or the maf'ul in a sentence. They always occur in those particular situations. Okay, but again, does it make sense? I don't expect it to make sense. Fine, it's used as a reference material at the moment. The mawsul, these are the words that we discussed before, and the sila. So, for example, if I say those who are traveling to Egypt, so those who, that will be the mawsul. Traveling to Egypt is connected to that, so all that bit will be considered as a sila, and they form part of a sentence. They are fragment, and that's the next stage we will go on to once we've covered these bits. So without the sila, the mawsul can be neither the mubtada or the fa'al, the khabar or the maf'ul. They need to go together. The sila should contain a dhamir that corresponds to the mawsul. This dhamir is called a'id, the one which returns. This is how they're connected. Again, something that you're not going to understand, but it's used as a reference material. Note 5, the a'id, the one which returns, examples can be concealed, which is called mustatarun, and it can also be apparent, which is barid, which is apparent, which can be seen. The a'id can be deleted after man and ma, and if it is maf'ul, an example is that هذا ما رأيته, he is the one I saw. This can be expressed as هذا ما رأيت, meaning the who here is the ma'id, the ending bit that can be there or may not be there. Both are valid. And again, this is as a reference material we're using at the moment. So when we start to apply it, we can come back to these points again, and when we have a better understanding. The mawsuf of the mawsuf is the one that is describing, must always be definite, because the ismul mawsul is ma'rifa. So the example of that is laqitu waladul ladhi ta'allamul kitabu. Again, this is something that you're not going to understand yet, because you haven't covered mawsuf and sifa. Adjectives we have not covered yet. Adjectives, they have to match. So if one is ismul mawsul, which means, which we said before, that ismul mawsul is in proper. Okay, there was one of the 7 types, it was ismul mawsul, so they are proper. All he's saying is then if that is proper, then the mawsuf, the one describing it, has also have to match, because sifa and mawsuf match in all those things. All 4 properties they match. But again, this is not something we've covered yet. We're going to cover later. So if it doesn't make sense, then not to worry. And in fact, I don't expect it to make sense because we haven't covered it. The important bits we covered before, which is right at the beginning, that table, that is the important bit to remember and to be familiar with, and that's what you should understand. When the mawsuf is indefinite, the ismul mawsuf is elided, lakitu waladan ta'allam al-aba. And again, these are examples. Okay, moving on to the next. Next these are the pronouns. These are the pronouns, and again, these pronouns you will need to know. You need to know and you need to memorize. Again, it's a case of repetition, and it should not take you long, but it's not a case of repeating it all in one go. Rather, take your time and do it a bit at a time, And the pronouns are the following, and they're mentioned there, but I'm going to go through it in terms of how you should learn it. Okay, how you should learn it. So in your head, it should be huwa, hiya, huma, hum, hunna, anta, anti, antuma, antuma, antum, antunna, ana, nahnu. And that's how you need to remember these. Okay, so that's how you need to remember these pronouns. So those are the top boxes, as you can see. Huwa, in the white boxes, you should be able to see that they are there. Huwa is your masculine. Okay, so huwa is your masculine. Shall we go through these on the board, see if you can see them here. So your masculine are your huwa. So first we're going through the masculine. So the way to learn it is huwa. This means he. Again, you got the meanings there. Huwa, huma. Again, this should give you a clue. This is talking about the 2. Hum. So huwa, huma, hum. So these are all the masculine. Then the feminine correspondence, that's he, and that's for 2 people, he, and hum is they. Okay? Then you get hiya, huma, and you can see it's exactly the same in the dual form. And this is different. Hunna. And again, the reason I'm mentioning here is because this is again part of the ma'il wa or part of the ismul, the type that is known, proper nouns. So you get your feminine here. So you get huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Okay? And then we go, that's for ghaib, those are not present, so we talk about he, she. What about those who are present? Then we say anta, antuma, antum. Okay, anta, antuma, antum. This is for male. Anta, antuma, antum is for male. So meaning you, and this is for 2 people, you, and this is you plural, like you all. Okay, and then the female you should know is anti. So can you see the difference? Anti, antuma, exactly the same as before. No change there. Antuma, and then antunna. Again, you should see some similarities, okay? But you need to remember these. Antunna, and then the last one's I is ana and nahnu. Okay? Ana and nahnu. So that's what you need to remember. Needs, ana is I and nahnu. And then the ones underneath it is something that you need to be familiar with as well. So shall we write it here? And so you need to learn this as well. So it's going to be who. We'll come on to it, why that's important. But at the moment, who, and it could also be he. Okay, these are huma. Okay, so that's the same. So who, huma, hum. Okay, no changes there, hum. And this is ha, huma, hunna. Okay, so that's the same. Hunna. And this is ka. With the fatha at the top, ka, kuma, kum. And this is ki, kuma, kunna. And this is, there's 2 ways of doing this. You can either have e, or it can be ni. And this is na, Na. Like ihdina. Okay? That's that na there. And we'll cover that inshallah when we come onto it more and when we go through them inshallah. But again, something that you should be familiar with. It's something that you should be familiar with. And then we've got page 5, the bit just to complete it off. There's 2 types of damir called damir shan. No word before it known what it's referring to, only in singular, male or feminine. And damir al-qissa, if it is feminine, no meaning in translation. An example is given there. Huwa Allah wa ahad. Allah is one. So here the huwa here is used as damir shan, not referring to being described before, and he is used here, and that's called damir shan. It just, again, as I said, this is a reference material. This doesn't make sense. It's not a problem. And then it had the damir fasilun. When the khabar is ma'rifah, there's a possibility of confusion, so a pronoun is added with the mubtada, and it's inna Allah huwa razzaq. So this huwa is added here, not to make confusing. But again, this is something that you're not going to be able to understand. And in that, inshallah, we end here, we move on to fragments. But before then, inshallah, we'll also go through the vocabulary that we've done so far, and then we will try and recap some of this information in the material that we have used so far and which we have gone through so far. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.